Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, friends, allies, family, and enemies. I'm your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. And I am quite unprepared for the countdown to end. I literally just walked back in here. And so yeah. My apologies. Uh-oh. Looks like we are having tech issues. Give me a break. So, y'all put a 01 if you can still hear me while I try to figure. Actually, I know what the problem is, to be honest. And it is. All right. All right. That should be that. That should be that. We should be good. All right. Now, y'all give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. So I know we could. Oh, Ray already got it. All right. So I'm going to greet everybody. Sorry about that. Had a quick tech issue. I got some added additional stuff on my computer and it's doing a little extra work. So let's start off with BB4 Straight Black Powder Brother Elijah, BB4 the Yeshua Goon, BB4 the Ray Bay, BB4 Brother You Got Ripped Off. And looks like we got some other people who are here, but not yeah, I'm getting to that, bro. I'm getting to that. I just had a slight tech issue, so I'm getting to that. Appreciate it, though. Because I got to remember what music I can and can't use right now. So today I got a notification. Well, I'm trying to get myself together here. Got a notification that this show that I did that featured Kamala. Now I don't know how these things. Right. Got the relevant information up here and remove the irrelevant. All right, cool. The show that I did, they took down the monetization because the clip I used with the Rainbow gentleman that interviewed Kamala, they didn't want me to use that clip. Now I found it interesting. I'm just gonna say this real quick. Then I found it interesting. Oh, brother, you got ripped off. Can you do the honors? Let people know we on. Because I didn't let people know in advance because I wasn't feeling angry. Having a little back tightness. Oh, thank you. Okay, my bad. You are right. Thank you, sister. I keep forgetting it. It doesn't hold the setting. All right, I'm getting myself together. Y'all, give y'all brother some grace. All right. How about this? Let's try it again. You have entered the center. I am your host, DC Radical One. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Podcast, Google Play, Stitchers, Spotify, and iHeartRadio on the Wake Up Radio. Again, this is the Center Live. I'm your host, DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on OTW2 at DC Radical 1, on Twitter at DC Radical _ONE. You can email me at protonmail, dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. And if you would like to contribute to the growth and sustenance of the channel, you can do that in two ways. You can do it directly via Cash App, $ DC Radical 1. Or you can check the page out and contribute via the membership option, which has 3 different layers. So now let me get back to what I was saying. I'm looking for stuff. So if it sounds like I'm leaning away from the mic because I'm looking for stuff, it's because I'm leaning away from the mic because I'm looking for stuff. So yeah, I got a notification, like literally maybe an hour ago, and it was like, hey, you can't monetize this because you used XYZ and ABC. So I thought they were talking about some music for a second. So I was like, all right, let me look. I was like, nah, they're not talking about music. So they're talking about a clip. So y'all remember I did a show and had a clip of Kamala, and you know, when I was talking about Tragic Johnson and all, you know, Obama and everybody basically trying to talk down to black men. Yeah, so basically they were like, nah, you can't monetize this. I was like, okay. So I went to it and I saw the clip and I was like, I said, well, that's petty. Because it doesn't matter anymore, because you know, she did not win. So it doesn't like matter. But it mattered enough to them for them to take monetization away. Like now, my channel is small. You know what I'm saying? I'm like barely monetized. So for them to even like look over just people that use this stuff and be like, yeah, let's listen to how he used it, and probably like, oh, you know what? Demonetize him ever. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to whoever I even used that from. So what's probably gonna happen, I'm probably gonna re-edit it and just take that out, you know, try to get the nickels and dimes from it. Before they assisted Najee. But yeah, that was interesting that they chose to demonetize that. So I apologize for the late notification. So here's what happened. I was gonna come on last night, and I said, well, if I come on, I'm not gonna come on till at least 10, because it's not gonna be till about 10 till we really know what's going on. In fact, I was talking to brother, you got ripped off, and then I was like, man, it's late. I said, I got a feeling they're gonna be doing this till 1. I was like, you know what? I'm good. So I tried to stay up at least. I was gonna make a video once they declared it, and so I was trying to stay up. And they were, I think it was Wisconsin. They were like just dragging it out, and I'm looking at different websites and YouTubes and news and whatever, right? Whatever I can find to see that somebody. And I look up. And have you ever tried to like download something over like public Wi-Fi, or upload, worse than that, upload something over public Wi-Fi? And especially like you're like, all right, you're using a VPN and then you're trying to upload it, and it just takes forever. Like that's how they were doing this. That's how they were doing the Wisconsin thing. So when I looked at it, it was like, okay, they got 90% of the numbers in. Right? Trump was winning. In like 15 minutes, it's like 91% reported. Then like a half hour after that, it's like 92. I'm like, yo. So eventually, man, I just fell asleep. I didn't even go to sleep. I fell asleep. And I woke up and looked around. I was like, oh, what happened? So I was like looking to see if they had declared it, and they hadn't. And I went back to sleep. Greetings, brother Lee Clinton. And then, you know, I was so tired. I was so out of it. I got myself together, went and did what I had to do. And then it didn't even dawn on me till like 11 o'clock to be like, you know what? You ain't even check. And nobody really said nothing. We should have told me what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody was like saying nothing. It's just like whatever. So that should have told me what happened. So then I checked and I was like, oh, okay. Oh, they declared it. Oh, it's over. It's over. So yeah, so that was that. So I said, well, you know what? Let me do it today. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna be honest. I got sent a video, and I might talk about this. I might just make a radical report about this. The behavior of some of our sisters in regards to BB Tumor and the brother Asafo, and the way they're acting in regards to this completely foreseeable victory by Trump, I would say. Right? It is wild. Like people are like, the young people saying, people are really crashing out, and I'm just like, so y'all like really thought she was gonna win? I mean, what's happening here? Because for me and me and the brothers, we talked about it a lot, and I'm just like, I don't see a way for her to win if they count the votes. Like it has to be something like, like the shenanigans have to be like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So here we are, right? So I just find it, I find the reactions interesting, because the reason I find them interesting is because it's two things. One, Trump has already been president, so why are people acting like David Duke was elected? You know what I'm saying? Like, here's what's crazy. Like, think about this. Think about this. There's actually no famous openly anti-black person that I can use as an example in this day and time. Like, David Duke's old. They ain't open Klansman, and back then they really old. Like, people don't really. You say David Duke to a person that's 30 and under, who? They don't know that, right? I mean, there's some other people, but they're not famous. So that just goes to kind of show you that, like, this fear, especially amongst women, is kind of, it's strange. Bro, you got Rivell said the cowardice of the race over this political race places us in an abysmal situation. I mean, our cowardice in general, man, it's just disgusting. And hopefully, man, I didn't see none of these big 6'2" dudes that go on CNN crying and acting a fool. Hopefully that didn't take place. And if it did, then I'm glad I missed it. But let's just do, before we get into a couple of these articles, let's just look at do some political analysis real quick about our situation as black people. We have been here for half a millennium amongst Europeans. Like, I'm not saying that we only been here for half a millennium. I'm saying amongst Europeans. We have fought non-black people on multiple continents, and like both of these continents in the West, on the African continent, in Europe, and Asia. And depending on how you feel about that, Aborigines in Australia. Over the last 6,000 years. Like, you've been fighting for 6,000 years, what you scared of? Right? Like seriously, like, I know a lot of our people don't know the history, but the idea that you got here without war being waged against you, I don't know where you got that idea from. This is why I recommend that every year people read The Destruction of Black Civilization. Every year. You should read it every year. It'll change your whole perspective. And after you read that every year, I suggest you read Brother Genie's books that shall not be named. We will be demonetized just for saying that. It just points out the problem. That's all. Every year. Then you give you proper perspective on things. Right? So what we're gonna look at, and this is another thing I want to get to real quick. And it's weird that nobody really mentioned it. There was so much focus. They were trying so hard to demonize Trump, which backfired, in my opinion. That they never mentioned the congressional races, particularly the Senate race, because the Senate race, it was a toss-up. Right? It was basically 50-50. And I guess I didn't bring that up, but I will get to that. I'll continue to talk about the round, at least for maybe the first week. I'll continue to talk about the ramifications of the race, but like no one really talked about that. Like locally, in Maryland, the Senate race was between the former governor Larry Hogan, and I actually don't know what the sister's position was. I know she was something in PG County. I thought she was a prosecutor, but maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was in charge of PG County. I don't remember. But Angela also Brooks. It's my understanding she won. So congratulations to Miss Also Brooks. Also, congratulations to Ward H, DC Councilman Trayon White, who, despite facing bribery charges, won his race. So, he's following in the footsteps of Marion Barry. Under indictment and winning anyway. So, hopefully things work out for that brother. He could have handled some things differently, but it is what it is. I'm not going to publicly discuss those things right now. So salute to him. Or congratulations to him. Peace, brother Dawood. I'm trying to think about any other local races. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But so back to the Congress thing. What I found interesting is while seemingly, and I say seemingly because I wasn't in the voting booth with people or however they had it set up, however your setup was. But seemingly, there was so much focus on Trump and demonizing Trump and talking about saving democracy and all this other stuff, that there was no discussion about the congressional races, the Senate races, which to me were just as, if not more important, because if you are really, for example, right? Because remember the Agenda 2025 was a big thing. If you're really worried about that, that's a legislative agenda. So therefore, you should vote against it legislatively, meaning, you should vote for Democratic congresspersons or independent congresspersons that lean progressive. I didn't hear anyone mention it. Right? You said Cornel West got the least amount of votes. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So I didn't see anybody mention that. Again, now the day after, and I've talked about AIPAC and put that information out, and talk about lobbying and things like that. Is anybody seeing any other black people talking about that? Greetings to ISP. who came in to correct me on. She came in to correct me, but she didn't give a whole answer. So I'll wait for her to correct me on probably on Angela Oswald's. So, but yeah, so my thing is, instead of this rapid fear, let's begin to discuss the solutions then. Because here are some of the options that are available for us as a people. Right? Now they can be as realistic or unrealistic as you want. Option one, you can leave and try to come back in 4 years. I mean the country, not where you live, like the whole country, right? You're so disgusted you can just leave and come back in 4 years. Right. Now, let's be realistic. Is that an option for most of the people who are like in shock and awe and complaining and crying and what does it say in the Bible? The wailing and gnashing of teeth. All those people. Is it possible for them to do that? No, I doubt it. Like, let's be honest. The Biden economy has hamstrung a lot of people economically, because if you was gonna leave, you would have left in the midst of that and came back when the economy got better. So, yeah. So, county executive, all right, thanks. So there's that. That's an option, right? That's an option for some people. Some people have that option. Right? That's option one. Option two, continue to do what you were doing when Trump was president last time, which is what most people are going to do. Let's just be honest. And all the complaining and whatnot, that's what most people do. Right? That's the most likely option. Okay. Option three, organize with other Black people to build economic infrastructure, and then utilize that economic infrastructure to build the political infrastructure to lobby for better treatment for Black people. Right? That's an option. Do I think that people are going to take that option? Y'all know I've been alive a long time. Let's just put it like this. Fortunately or unfortunately, I was born after the point where Black people did those things. Like literally the last formation of political a meeting to increase our political status was probably 1972 in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where Minister Farrakhan and Jesse Jackson and all those other people were there. That's, to the best of my knowledge, that was the most that was the last time that an independent political movement had the strength and the backing of the people and the capacity for us to do something economically independently. Where we had activists, we had some entertainers, real Black politicians, all at least meeting to come together. Like you had you had members of the Black Panther Party. You had members of the Black Panther Party meeting with people like Sister Queen Mother Moore and people like Minister Farrakhan and people like Jesse Jackson and civil rights leaders, Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz. Like, all these people were at this event. That was in the 70s. I believe that. If I'm not mistaken, either 1971 or 72 or 73. Somewhere between 71 and 73. So is That was what, 50 years ago? I almost said 60. 50 years ago. No, to my knowledge now, if y'all know, somebody could correct me. That was the last time, because that was before we were absorbed as just as a whole community, as a whole group of people. Before we were absorbed into the Democratic Party. We had the option then and the impetus then to form a black, independent political movement or even political party, and then negotiate the things that we desired from that position of strength. But it didn't happen for whatever reason. And here we are now, 50 years later, divided, confused, and politically and economically impotent. That's the reality of the situation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm here, as Morpheus said in The Matrix, all I'm offering is the truth. But I want to put this on the people's minds and put this in the atmosphere so that maybe someone with more resources and someone with more political connections, will maybe this will spark their mind. You know, going with the Tupac theory. Maybe I won't change the world, but maybe I can spark the mind of the African that can change the world. Right? Brother, you got ripped off says need money to lobby, brother. No question. And the only movement I see generating money is FBA. Okay. He said they're not using those funds politically, even though their leaders espouse political ideology. Yeah, I can't even speak to that. I can't even speak to them generating money, because the type of money that you need for lobbying, we talk about millions of dollars. So if they're generating that type of money and not producing anything with it, then says all you need to say. Brother Safo says, didn't Queen Mother Moore create the original ADOS title that Cornell stole and misrepresented? That I am not aware of, brother. I don't even know. BB for ODA2 sister Simone. That I don't know. So that I kind of low-key lost my train of thought, but those were my options. Did I say 4? So let's see. I said leave, do what you've been doing, organize, and I have no idea what the 4th option was. So if it pops up in my mind what the 4th option is, I'll let you all know. The 4th option, well, really, I guess like the 4th option is split ourselves between the remaining parties, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Green, whatever. I guess that's the 4th option. But so those are the options. Now let's be honest. Hey, okay, Trump was president before. People are going to do what they've been doing, and people are going, when the first notable case of a black person who's probably going to be a black man gets shot and makes the rounds of the news, people are going to act like that person got shot because of Trump, as if we weren't being gunned down by police terrorists under Obama. That's what's going to happen. Sister Najee say 5th option is join the ancestors on the other side of the fight. Yeah, that's an option. So we know that's going to happen, right? And people are going to say, oh my God, what are we going to do? This and that. And I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Huey P. Newton already told us what to do. Malcolm X already told us what to do. Robert F. Williams already told us what to do. Deacons for Defense already told us what to do. Cosmo September told us what to do. Mike Xavier Johnson told us what to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest, man. Hey, let's just be honest. I mean, you know, let's be honest. This one, I ain't even hit the monetization on it when I did. This one probably not gonna get monetized, but we're talking about solutions, so whatever. You know, I don't even have my phone in here to monetize it. Whatever. If the next Ahmaud Arbery or whomever, when that takes place, the reality of the situation is that if we had 10,000 organized armed brothers to just appear on the scene in the city where that happens to investigate, you think it would keep happening? There's supposed to be 60 million of us here. We got plenty of people, military, law enforcement, former military, law enforcement, special forces, you name it. We can't get 10,000 brothers to not mobilize, but to organize for self-defense. Because predators prey on the weakest prey, regardless of situation. There's a chance, let's just be honest, if you're in a small town and there's a chance that 10,000 armed black men are going to come to your small town and basically surround it, a lot of the shenanigans just not going to take place. People don't really want that smoke. But in order for something like that to happen, first thing we got to do, to quote Stephen A. Smith, first thing we got to do is put down the weed. Second thing we got to do is stop loving our enemies. Right? See, there's a lot of problems that could be solved, you know, with some black love and black self-respect. Brother, you got ripped off, says, man, a brother was just found lynched in Alabama last week or this week. I guess that's Trump's fault and not the current presidential administration's fault. Right. Brother Dawood says, better yet, mobilize to take back our communities from all the foolishness. I'm to the point now where I'm actually more for just being completely honest. And again, this is an economic issue. I'm more for separation. I'm for separation from. I'm for separation from all enemies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just separate from all enemies. Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough. I don't think there are enough what I would consider sane black people, to build communities across the country, because I don't think it's just enough of us. Based upon some of the things I've seen, like I said, people, especially women, crashing out, like acting like petulant children. Like it was kind of scary. Only because you should have expected there's a 50% chance of Miss Harris losing. Secondly, she's not a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know they've been telling y'all she's a black woman. I know she went to a HBCU. I went to a HBCU and saw a blonde-haired, I don't know what color her eyes were, but whatever. I'm just gonna make it that she was black. Female, strolling across campus and taking classes. And I'm like, who this? You know what I'm saying? So just because you went to HBCU does not make you black. Let's just disabuse ourselves of that. And again, another reason why you got to read Destruction of Black Civilization, because you know, stop just automatically inviting others to the race. Brother got jokes on that was in the 1930s. No, sir, my good brother. It was not. In fact, Kamala was in her HBCU before I was in my HBCU, because she's way older than me. So yeah, I just wanted to get that part off my chest, man, because, and I know we're not going to do anything that solution oriented, because let's just be honest, we love our enemies. And that's what a lot of the complaint is about, because a lot of Black women, they looked at European males as allies. Remember we had that discussion? And then look at who voted the most for Trump. Yeah, exactly. Right? And so I need to find those articles and do a radical report on that. So it'd be interesting to see if Black men get blamed. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna tell sisters this. I mean no disrespect. With the type of administration that's coming in now, and the type how people are going to feel and what they're going to be doing, being at war with Black men at this time, with the mandate that Trump has and the the Republicans probably having control of the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary all at the same time. It's not time to be at war with the Black man. Like, I don't know if y'all thought about that. And maybe you have, and that's where all the emotionalism comes from. And you don't want to come back to the Black man because you expect to be rescued by Zaddy. I'm here to tell you. It's not going to happen. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, that these European males have been waiting patiently to nip a lot of what they consider shenanigans in the bud. Right? So, with that, let me get into our first article. And yeah, and brother, you got ripped off. Say, please hit the like button. That's the least you can do. No, because actually hitting the like button is even less strenuous than actually tuning in and listening. Now that I think about it, so do that for me. So we're not gonna do any video tonight because I really just wanted to come on and chop it up with y'all. We're just gonna do strictly articles because I don't feel like having my stuff demonetized because somebody's mad that Trump won or whatever. I just saw something talking about Tim Walz, and I'm just like, all right, you know what? Before we get to this article, let me talk about the things that I think went wrong for the Democrats. Number one, disrespect of Black men. The margins were so small that disrespecting apart. Why does this dude in this commercial look like Tim Walz? Like, what is happening right now? Google got jokes. Y'all see this? Am I tripping? Did this dude look like Tim Walz or what? He talking, and I don't even know what this is. This is some commercial. I don't want to look at this dude, man. Goodness. Let's see. What else? Let's look at the map. Here we go. Yeah, how about that? Look at that dude. That dude's crazy. Man, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Mistakes that I think that the Harris campaign made. Well, actually, let me start with the basics. Number one, she's a bad candidate. I just thought she was a bad candidate, but hey, whatever. They didn't want to bypass her because they didn't want to, the whole They didn't want to, um, bypass the first black woman, so forth, so on, blah blah blah. So that was a mistake one. The whole, what most people, what I ain't gonna say most people, what I heard a lot of people say is what I always felt like. There's nothing there. There's nothing to her. There's no substance to her. There's no belief. There's nothing she's against. There's nothing she's for. Like every time she talks, it was just Trump, Trump, Trump. So there was nothing there. So she was a bad candidate. And then I heard somebody bring up something that was real interesting because it made me think. Most in American politics, whether the people actually actuate on their beliefs very much, their religious beliefs. I mean, their religious beliefs very much color their worldview and thus their political view, right? And Americans are used to that. So, going way back, Kennedy being a Catholic was a big thing because they were like, well, if he's the president, is he going to submit to the Pope? Like that was a real thing back in the day. Before the 777-9311. So that was a real thing. So, but I heard European female, I don't know who she was. She said, we don't really know anything about her. We don't know her religious beliefs. We don't know if she's even a Christian. We don't know if she goes to church. And as she was saying that, I thought to myself, I was like, what's wild? It never even occurred to me. Right? Like, it never occurred to me. I don't think I've ever heard her mention her faith or anything like that. But even in this current situation where people are pretty much like nonchalant when it comes to religion, politically, that's a thing. The thing with her and her husband and that mixed family thing and whatever is happening there, where it looks like they just got together to give her a family so she could advance politically. I don't think that worked. I think people looked at that and it probably looked weird to people, and it looked as disingenuous as it is. So that's why I said, like, she's not for a lot. There's a lot of the country that still believe they're Christians. And I say still believe because, the actions, right? And her, whatever she got going on, wouldn't appeal to them. So that's part of the problem. She was not a strong candidate, in my humble opinion. Like I said, number two, disrespecting black people. Straight Black Pride of Straight Black Saw, who is our lone member of the channel. He's our inaugural member of the channel, and currently our lone member of the channel. Now, hopefully one day soon, as they used to say in the church, soon and very soon, someone will join him as a member of the channel, and I'll be so excited. But yeah, the disrespect for black men, like, let's just be honest, the most loyal people to the Democratic Party for the last approximately 60 years has been black people. So why you would want to disrespect 50% of black people that's going to just vote for you? That's just politically stupid. You know what I'm saying? With all due respect, like, and you disrespect the straight black men to the point where straight black men look at other men who they think are straight and look at them and like, yeah, we watching you because we ain't sure how straight you are if you're gonna vote for these people after they just totally disrespected us with Tragic Johnson and Barry Obama in them. So again, politically, that was just That was just stupid. Like it was disrespectful, especially when you don't have margins for, like, you can't afford for those people, that group of people, to vote for Trump or sit it out. Like, both of those things would be detrimental, and you did it. Number 3, not standing up to Israel in any way, shape, or form when you need to win Michigan. Michigan has been a home for various Muslims and Arabs for 100 years. I don't know what y'all was thinking. You just had to bite the bullet and just say, yeah, we will work for a ceasefire. It's out of hand. Instead, they sent Bill Clinton up there, and Bill Clinton does a Joe Biden. I should have loaded that clip up, but I wasn't thinking about it. He goes up there and just like, yeah, some of y'all people died, but it'd be all right. Like, that type of thing. Like, they looking at him like with the Umar face, like, I beg your pardon. Like, it was terrible. I'm like, y'all sure he ain't working for the other team? When I saw that, I was like, there's no way that they're gonna win Michigan. There's no way. Because to me, you literally just went up there. First of all, you already disrespected black people. You go up there, you disrespect Arabs and Muslims. This is in Michigan with Detroit and Lansing and all that stuff. So you go there, you disrespect black people and Arabs and Muslims. And she had some policy as far as with cars, like I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something that was centered around cars, and it would affect people's jobs up there in the Motor City. Piece of sister poetry. So those 3 things in that key state that you had to win. I mean, you basically guaranteed yourself losing a state that you had to win. It was bad. Like, missteps ain't even a word. Like, sending Clinton up there for him to say what he said was crazy. Like, and I know they didn't send him up there to say that, but I'm just saying, like, when he did it, it's just like, well, that's one off the list, right? What other mistakes? Four. Misstep number 4. Carville, the Clinton's political man, said it's the economy, stupid. People, this is the one narrative I haven't heard people say, and this Carville was right. Carville was kind of a weird country dude. I don't know where he's from, but politically, he's one of the smartest people I've seen politically in my lifetime. And he just broke it down. He says the economy, stupid. Let's just be honest. You can blame whoever you want. I go to the store once a week, maybe. Literally every time I go to the store, the prices go up a little bit. Every time. It's crazy, even if it's 2 cents. Like, if something goes up 5 cents every week, in a month, that's 20 cents. Right? How much is that in a year? And this is food. We're not talking about discretionary spending. We're talking about stuff you need to survive. And you say, if they ask you, would you do anything different policy-wise from different from Biden? And you basically say, nah, I can't think of anything on The View. And people remember that as soon as they go to the store and they ring them up and they do like me. When I look at the stuff and I'm like, I barely got enough items to fill up this bag. And you just said somehow this is $50 worth of food. How? And it's so bad that going to like restaurants and stuff is even worse, because I don't know if this is still true or if this was only in certain places, but they were talking about when they talking about y'all help me out. When they talking about, and I know very few of you all eat McDonald's, but weren't they talking about like $10 Big Macs or something? It's like something crazy off the wall. Like, I don't even know. I just know when I saw it, it was like, whoa, what in the world? So if you know, unless they're not aware, but most people have not been doing well over the last 4 years. And you don't even try to come up with a policy that's different. Like, you don't even say, well, you don't explain to people, hey, well, what's really going on is, and and I'm gonna be honest, the reason she didn't do it because she doesn't know anything about it. She's not very sharp policy wise. I picked up on that. Brother, you got Bripto says, do you think Candace Owens had an effect on voter outcome? Small. I don't think she really had a big effect. I think what Candace Owens did, because she has a following, what Candace Owens did is probably solidified people's views of Kamala as not authentic. So she may have swayed a few people who weren't sure about her, but I don't think it was such that it affected the election. I think it just solidified some things for some people. They're like, I didn't think she was authentic. That's why I watched Candace Owens. Now I'm pretty sure she's not authentic. I think it's like that. And it, like I said, there may have been some handful of black people, but I think it was mostly people who, like I said, people were conservative and whatnot. You know, Candace Owens. Mostly her base. There were some other people, because I saw some other people talk about it, but I also saw a lot of people that didn't talk about it. And brother Straight Black Sauce says Lindy Lee, who was a Harris Imhoff surrogate, characterized the election as a bloodbath. Yeah, it was. You know what? Let me see if I can find this article that was talking about, because I wanted to talk about the stuff that's still happening. There's still stuff that hasn't been solidified, and hopefully this comes up. I'm not sure that it will. Oh, actually, hold up, my bad. I got it here. My bad. This is it. Sorry. So this is every uncalled race left in the fight for control in Washington. We have Mr. Trump, who solidified his position. Senate control has already been solidified for the Republicans, and it's not looking good for the Democrats in the House either. So that part surprised me. Let's see. So let's just get down here. Of course, this is an interesting picture because this is Mr. Trump with Mr. Zelensky, who he kind of has already said you're on your own. Now, let me say this. I'll be very interested to see what Mr. Trump does. What he does in regards to Ukraine, if he actually does what he said he's going to do, and what he does with Israel. And Sister Poetry says, you heard someone say that he would have lost if he was up against a man. Not if the person was as bad a candidate as she was. Like, here's the issue that nobody wants to talk about. Trump is an extremely popular person and a naturally savvy politician. Not in the sense of a polished person like Obama, or even like a down-home slick person like William Jefferson Clinton, but in a celebrity-ish, cult of personality-ish, half entertainer, half. Because this was very weird about Trump. Trump is very much not a regular person. You know what I'm saying? He's had money for a large percentage of his life, if not all his life. But Trump has a way of presenting himself like an everyman. That's why I always thought he was what I call outside money. Like there's inside money and outside money. He always came across as outside money. But he has a way of presenting himself as an everyman, right? And he does stuff to play that up. And even though people don't believe it, they find it entertaining. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When he came with the garbage truck, I thought it was funny. Because it was ridiculous, but it was funny. Biden has said something that basically called the people that's gonna vote for Trump or Trump supporters or whatever, however you put it, as garbage. Which I think was supposed to be a response to something that Trump said or somebody else said at a Trump rally, whatever the case. And so he just comes up with a garbage truck. Like out the blue, painted white, with his logo on it and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff, that's it takes political savvy to like take any word that your opponent says and jump on it and then use it to fuel your campaign. And some people hate it because they find it irritating. But if you look at old school politics from like the 20s and 30s and some of the stuff they did is literally out the old school political playbook. And he just has a natural talent for that. It's just part of his personality. So the idea that he would have lost to any random spandom, I don't think so. I think people just really underestimate and have always underestimated. The media has always underestimated his appeal because they don't like him. And I'm actually not sure why. Because it was always, like the way Trump is covered has always been weird to me. Because I remember where I worked at that time, we had TVs and computers everywhere, right? Like everyone had, whether their work, like some people actually had two things. Like some people had their laptop and their work laptop. We had TVs and stuff and everything, right? And so the news was always covered and everybody was always aware of what's going on, so. And at that time, like it seemingly every time I looked up, Trump was on. And yet they were trying to talk bad about him and mock him and this and that. But I'm like, but you give him free airtime ad nauseum. Like I can't walk to get my lunch without seeing him on one of these TVs. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm thinking. But like they're telling us, hey, this guy they're basically like, this guy sucks. But you give him a free airtime. And eventually people just looked at him and just start paying attention. Next thing you know, he's the president. They like, hey, what happened? Well, if he had ignored him, he probably, he might not have won. I just remember that back in, I guess that was 2015. I guess when he first announced his campaign. So, to me, like I said, he has that natural thing happen. And I don't, there's not a person I can think of, because he would have destroyed Biden after that first debate. He would have destroyed Biden. It would, in fact, what's weird is it would look exactly like it look now. Like nothing, putting Kamala in last minute actually didn't change anything. Like the same landslide that we're looking at would have taken place. I'm just trying to think of any person he wouldn't have been able to beat. He wouldn't have been able to beat the original Obama, but it would have been a tremendous, that would have been a political race for the ages. 2016 Trump versus 2008 Obama. Like, for those people who are just like political nerds, they would have just, that would have been like the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Trying to think. I don't know. I can't really think of anybody democratically, because I don't know who's in that pipeline. You say he probably would have had more votes. I mean, he's already beaten. Well, we don't know what the final count is, but he's beating her in the popular vote for like 5 million votes, which is like, that's getting whooped when the Democrats supposed to have the natural advantage with that. Sister Not Jay say might have been part of the plot to put him in our face long enough to feel comfortable. Well, I think he had already. I mean, I thought about that, but I think he was already comfortable, because he already had his own show where he was telling people, "You're fired." Like, I remember people like talking about that, like, "Oh man, Trump, you seen Trump's show?" I'm like, "Huh?" Yeah, people like just found that amusing. And I looked at a little bit of it, and I was like, okay, reality show, but people get fired. I'm like, yeah, the reality of being the black man in America is that you could get fired at any moment. So I don't find that show that entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Just being completely honest. Like, So, but yeah, let's look at the unfinished races. Let's see. So Trump, Michigan, we already talked about why that happened. Alaska, I'm pretty sure they already called that for Trump on that. And then there's Arizona and Nevada, which it doesn't matter because he's already won. But going over the 300 electoral college vote count is like, that's a whooping. You know what I'm saying? And looking at the map, I guess I don't have it up, but looking at the map, I haven't seen a map look like this with as much red since Reagan. And I'm not even sure they were doing that before Reagan. If they were, I don't. So that's that. Let's say a couple of Senate races. You got Democrat Ruben Gallego, who's going against Republican Carrie Lake. It's kind of weird is that I was getting commercials for that on YouTube, so I've seen this, kind of familiar with it. If Gallego's, well, he's leading, but if he loses and Sam Brown, Republican Sam Brown from Nevada, if he wins, like they're gonna have like 55 votes in the Senate. It's gonna be very difficult to stop the Republican agenda. And from my understanding, they're removing Mitch McConnell from leadership, which I'm gonna be honest, like the Republican senators, I just, most of them give me a headache. But Mitch McConnell got to be, please, he's the Republican version of Nancy Pelosi. Just like, please go away. Just go away. I don't care where. Go away, man. I despise Mitch McConnell passionately. I'm gonna be honest. I'm about to say something crazy. I must have ran across Mitch McConnell somewhere in a past life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate the sound of that dude's voice. I hate the way he looked. And I never met him. Like, I have an unreasonable disdain for that man. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's unreasonable. Before they RBG and greetings to brother KW Don, who said that Reagan won every state except Minnesota in '84, which was crazy. So apparently he's stepping down from leadership. I don't know who they're gonna put in this place, but I don't know if he's retiring, but if not, please do. When Jay-Z say Van Moose, y'all know the rest. Can't stand that dude, man. Like, I know Mitch McConnell was a Klansman in a past life. Like, he probably was the overseer in a past life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go back and you look at his genetics, there's overseer written all over. All right, I'm back. I knew. My bad. I went off the rails on that. Like, it's just something about that dude. I don't know. All right, let's look at the control of the house. Goodness. Control of the house is unclear in part because dozens of competitive races remain uncalled, including a number of key races in California. Man, if Democrats don't win in California, they really hurt. Alaska, the Republican Nick Begich is leading Democrat Mary Peltola, but he's hovering around the 50% mark required to win. If he falls short of the threshold, the race will go to ranked choice voting. So he's winning, but not winning enough to win. Alrighty. Let's see. Arizona's first district. David Schweigert is going against Democrat Amish Shah, a former legislator. Arizona's 6th district is up. California's 9th and 13th districts. Let's see. GOP John Duarte is locked in a tight race with Democrat Adam Gray, a former state legislator in Central Valley. Okay. Well, Democrat Jim Costa is locked in a close race with Republican Michael Mayer, a former FBI agent. That's just interesting because an FBI agent running for Congress. That's just interesting. So California got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, either 9 or 10 races still up for grabs in California. That's a lot. So basically, you can make the argument that, and that you would think that more Democrats would win in California, but you can make the argument that California is going to determine the House. Maryland's 6th district, Democrat April McLean Delaney is locked in a tight race with Neil Parrott. You know what? Okay, I wish I had that commercial. April, what's her name? April Delaney. She had one of the best. Brother RBG, you said Cali got 52 House districts. Okay. She had one of the best commercials, political commercials I saw this election season. The dude's name is Neil Parrott, I think, right? That's what it says. Neil Parrott? Yeah, Neil Parrott. They had a commercial with a parrot with a MAGA hat, like parroting whatever like Trump said. I mean, it was hilarious. It was one of the best commercials I've seen. It was hilarious. So that's why I remember. That's why I remember her. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know who came up with it, but it was funny. I don't know if that's enough for her to win, but it was a great commercial. That's another thing too. real quick. The last about 3 or 4 commercials that I saw from Trump. I don't know who did his campaign commercials, but the last 3 or 4 were some of the best political commercials I've seen since like Obama. The one where he has the one that they kept showing during football games. So brothers, y'all probably seen it. With the the transgender patients and paying for their surgery and all that stuff. And they had what's his name? Charlemagne talking about it. Yo, that was crazy because I was like, nah, this can't be real. Like the first time I saw it, I'm like, yo, what they talking about? And then they like redid it and upped the ante on it. That commercial was crazy. Because when you watching football and that comes on, you're like, hey, hold up, what is happening right now? And then he had another one. I can't remember what it was, but he had another. I was like, yo, this is a tremendous commercial. Brother, you got jokes talking about. Rest in peace to Peanut the Squirrel. Now, which one was Peanut the Squirrel? Peanut the Squirrel. Yeah, that was so crazy. That whole thing was crazy. They made this big hullabaloo about that. I'm like, are y'all serious right now? Y'all not serious right now. So what else is left? Montana, Nebraska. Actually, Nebraska got 2 districts. No, my bad. Yeah, 2. No, 1. My bad. Nebraska got 1. Nevada has 2. New Jersey. So Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia. Let's see. Hold up. Let's see. What's this one? All right, let me look at this Virginia one. I seen this commercials for this dude, Vindman and Derek Anderson. Both candidates are veterans. Vindman came into public spotlight 2019 when his brother, Alexander Vindman, testified in Trump's impeachment hearings about a phone call between Trump and Zelensky. Does anybody remember what that was about? A phone call between Trump and Zelensky saying what? So, y'all let me know. For whatever reason, I find that interesting. What else do they have here? So that's up for grabs. I just say this. I'm going to say this. I said it before. At least I thought I said it before, but maybe I didn't. It doesn't benefit. No, I haven't. I didn't say it because I didn't want to tell people what to do. Here's my opinion. In my humble opinion, it does not benefit us to vote across the board with one party. It's my opinion. Now, you take your pick however you want to do that. And somebody's going to ask, well, DC, did you vote? Yeah, actually, I did. I did. I got up. Tried to decide if I was going to try to do it before, during, or after the day. And, since I found out where it was, I was like, all right, let me knock it out. And, the thing about it, they talk about, it's so crazy. They talk about how monumental it is. Like, at least here, it's a simple task, because they pretty much know. And here's another thing that I noticed. And I don't know. Y'all tell me, for those who voted, there are a lot of people, and maybe this is a DC thing, but there's a lot of people running unopposed for stuff. I do remember, because before I lived in Maryland, before I lived in other places, so yeah, I've seen this with lower, not top of the ticket stuff, but local stuff, like let's say Board of Education or City Council, things like that. I noticed still a lot of times people are running unopposed. Like, I noticed it in primaries before, but even now, the political process, if you can't find people who even want to engage in it on a lower level, kind of tells us what people kind of think of the political process. And that's partially why you're probably not getting the best people to run, which has a trickle up effect to how the government is run. And why you don't get new blood and new ideas, because people don't want to get in on the very basement of the political process. Like for us, right? Just speaking for Black people in America, being completely honest, we need it. I mean, if we're not going to engage, then it don't matter. But if we are going to engage, why aren't we recruiting and grooming some of our best and brightest to go into politics from, I'm talking about from high school age? And just teach them the process, bring them to Washington, let them go around, let them see the stuff, let them talk to Congress people, let them see how it works, let them run for, student government and all this stuff, and prepare them and back them and fund them to go up the ranks and represent us. Again, this is a long process, but we don't do any of these things to my knowledge. Now, maybe I'm just out the loop and I don't know what I'm talking about. And if so, and someone happens to listen to this, let me know. But my thing is, if we're going to engage in the political process, just voting is not sufficient. Like it's not a waste of time, but it's like above a waste of time, but not sufficient. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go beyond it, or just stop talking about it. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, at this point, as Black people, whatever we're gonna do, we just need to do it. We're gonna need to just go as hard as we can. What do you say? Go hard or go home. But the crying and complaining and the gnashing of teeth and wailing and oh my God, and people about to throw themselves out the window and crash their car. It's just needless emotionalism, man. It makes me tired. Which is why, I wanted to do articles, but really I more just want to talk solutions. Right? Like, here's what's crazy. Our ancestors, and some of them are elders, some of them are still here. They marched. They were shot at and shot back. They organized. They formed new organizations. They even had to teach people to read so that they could vote. They had to shoot at Klansmen so they could teach people to read to vote. They learned the law to protect people from the police with law books and shotguns. Right? They had political conventions. They formed organizations to back their candidates, like Mayor Marion Barry, to set up political infrastructure to therefore turn over the economy to local people, to change the very social fabric of local areas around the city that they were mayors of. Our people did all these things from the 50s to the 80s. And I don't know when, maybe it was Obama. I don't know when engaging in political struggle just went out the window. Y'all help me out. Like, am I saying stuff that sounds? Is what I'm saying ridiculous? And I don't know what I'm talking about here. Like, y'all let me know. I'm dead serious. Does it sound far fetched? Does it sound unreasonable? Does it sound unfathomable? It sounds like it can't be accomplished. Before brother Tony. I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm not the smartest person on earth. Right? And I'm not the smartest person in the black community. So I can't be the only person that's talking about these things, or at least has thought about it and said, let me speak about this publicly. I can't be. I refuse to believe that. I'm not the smartest black man in America. Brother, you got ripped off says past is hold on, my bad. Brother, you got ripped off with the $5 super chat. Let's stop. And give credit. Says past is the prelude to the present, and the present dictates the future. So the actions of the ancestors have been forgotten, and Gen Z will be the last blacks. Well, that's disheartening. Thank you for that, brother. He said that actions of the ancestors have been forgotten. That's sad. But I guess that's why I'm here. To teach those who know not. So realistically, those people that, took those bullets and returned some of the bullets and did all that work, I don't think they would just want us to just be consumed by the Democratic Party and limiting our political activities to a party that sometimes they care and sometimes they don't. I could be wrong. But the fact that we can't organize to do something for ourselves politically, simply because we refuse to. And I'm going to just say this. This is largely going to be on black men. Because simply saying, hey, you disrespected us, and refusing to vote or voting for Trump or Jill Stein or Cornel West or whoever else, because there was somebody else that I saw and that I didn't know was running. I mean, that's one thing, and that's cool. That's a short-term thing. But realistically, the time to be organizing is now. The time to be building political infrastructure is right now. Right? The time to, again, because we keep forgetting, Mr. Trump had a whole platinum plan before. He didn't feel the need for it now. And now the Hispanics supported him more. So now he's more likely to deal with them than he is to deal with us, because he's always trying to make a deal. But if you're not tied down to one party and you're independent politically, then you can negotiate with either side for the benefit of yourself. Okay. No one was offering reparations. All right, cool. But we could have got, how many billions was it, brother, you got ripped off that he had as an economic program? Like, let's be honest. Let's just be honest here. We could have probably negotiated, I believe it's a 100 billion. So you said 500. Okay, 500 billion is crazy. I'll be conservative. Let's say it was 100 billion. A $1 million grant would have allowed our producer, a $1 million grant would have allowed our producer to expand the infrastructure for On the Wake Up Radio and OTW2 and employ a dozen people. Because access to capital is what limits black business. Again, I've talked about this previously. You had a president that likes to make deals and was offering this, and is a business person and believes in business, and also believes in alternative media. You know, but who do we have to represent us to even go and sit down with him and even make this deal? Who do we have that we can take seriously? We got a bunch of entertainers. We haven't even developed independent political leadership outside of, like, think about what the Democrats did. And I'm definitely getting off by 10 o'clock, but you know, I'm just the stream of consciousness. We just build it. Think about what the Democrats did, how seriously they don't take us, whether black men or black women. For black women to be all up in arms and sad about Kamala, she literally brought Megan Thee Stallion, who just admitted that she lied about her interactions with Tory Lanez, which we already knew, so I don't know why she was lying. Right? So they brought out Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, and various other assorted people. Then all of a sudden, Sexy Red is out there twerking and saying she voted for Kamala. And so not her, but the other ones, they brought on stage at a political rally. Beyonce came out there. Cardi B showed us that she's probably illiterate. Magic Johnson and Mr. Obama. Like, Mr. Obama is like literally the only serious person, and basically he just came out there and said, "You Negroes need to get in line." Basically, like, you know what I'm saying? Little John was there, or they played Little John's song. Either way, that's still bad. Like, that's how the Democrats treated it. Like, it was just mad disrespect. The Republicans just decided to they went and told him, "Man, you can." He was performing Little John. Wow, I didn't know that. Trump's people just told him, "You can ignore the Negroes this time," basically. You know, I mean, it was bad enough that Trump's people had what's that chick? The one that did the slut walk, that they had her up there. I'm like, what? I'm like, you talk about a race to the bottom. She had a slut walk and had which one of them, her boyfriend, 20, was that 21 Savage? That's not a good look, homie. How can I take this dude seriously? He's supposed to be a thug and he out here doing the slut walk. Yeah, Amber Rose. And she's at she's at the Republican convention. Somebody asked me a question. I said, so were we supposed to take Melted Ice's approach to Trump more seriously? We would. That's the thing. We were supposed to take, like, I didn't want Ice Cube to be representing us. I just put it like this. I forgot to mention this. We have some people that are qualified, but those things had to take place behind the scenes. But we don't have anybody in front of us that we can. Man, we just have. Man, we are bereft of everything. We're bereft of capital, like economic, like capital, like access to capital, like real money for the purposes of building economic infrastructure. We're bereft of serious-minded, racially loyal people to do those type of things. We're bereft of politically minded leadership that is loyal to Black people. We're bereft of a lot of things. Like the 21st century has, like, because that's when I'll really say that integration was like really locked in, has really robbed us of a capacity to do things for ourselves, based mostly on the educational and entertainment arenas have made us unfit for sovereignty. And it's bad. It's a bad look. Not only a bad look, but it's bad outcome. Like, we really, if we want to survive, we got some work to do. Like, again, Dr. Welton talks about the 9 areas of people activity. Other than entertainment, I would say that we are, as a people, as a collective in America, make the argument that we're comatose in 8 of the 9 areas of people activity. Educationally, speaks for itself. Economically, speaks for itself. Religiously, speaks for itself. War, goodness. Politically, that's what we're discussing now. Even in the area, in the arena, because what isn't intimacy in that one of the areas? I mean, the rift between the Black man and Black woman is shown just in the discourse on this election. We're in bad shape there. Like, you take all the areas of people activity that Dr. Welton talked about and Neely Fuller talked about. We are virtually incapacitated. I would say in 8 of those 9, and the one we're not, entertainment, we are doing the will of those who wish us ill will, if you will. It's rough. Wish I had good news. I didn't actually I came on here to say solutions, but as I'm doing in my mind the calculus, the political calculations, and the political analysis and the other calculations of where we are as a people, not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Right? So let me look at this article. I'm gonna go through part of this. I know I said I was gonna go through these articles, and I really haven't with too much, but it is what it is. This Politico Trump agenda. Here's what to expect from his second term. Says Donald Trump has promised the largest deportation of immigrants in American history, sweeping new tariffs on imports, a freeze on climate-related regulations, a remaking of federal health agencies, and ideological changes in the educational system. Now he gets his chance again. Says in his first term, Trump made major policy changes, often complained of bureaucracy getting in the way of his most ambitious aims. Armed with that experience, he expects officials in the second administration will better understand how to navigate complex agencies and policy processes, making a faster and more ambitious agenda possible, according to Trump's advisors. Though some of Trump's largest agenda items, tax breaks and Affordable Care Act changes, will take congressional approval, which it looks like he'll get at this point, many won't. The Trump administration will be able to change immigration enforcement, impose tariffs, change health regulations, intervene in overseas wars, and shape their educational system without help from the Hill. The president-elect has promised to make as many as 50,000 civil servants political appointees, effectively stripping the career protections of those currently in their roles and ensuring loyalists would remain. Okay, so for our people here in the DMV who living well and have nice houses in the surrounding counties, you might want to dust off your resume. Sound like if you're not down with him, he's ready to, give the people the boot. Brother RBG says, can we pull a genuine million man march in today's climate? I'd be shocked. Brother, you got ripped off, said Obama deported 3.2 million. Hey man, well, that, send that to him, man, so he'll realize the competition. Trump competitor. If you tell him, you're like, man, in order for you to deport, you can't, before you even catch up with Obama, you got to deport 3.2 million. He'll probably try to deport 10. He only had 1 million last time. Oh, he's slacking. Mr. Trump, he's slacking. Mr. Obama out deported you 3-1. You're not on your square. Somebody send this to Mr. Trump. So, got work to do, buddy. So here's a look at 9 policy areas under the Trump presidency, what he's proposing and what's actually possible. All right. So let's look at some of these. President-elect, immigration in the southern border. The president-elect vowed to build huge detention centers. Goodness, I ain't gonna lie to you. Just hearing detention centers, that kind of bugs me out. Even though I'm not an immigrant, but just all I think is, when I see detention centers, all I think is FEMA camps. I'm not gonna lie. This can go off the rails very quickly. You know what I'm saying? I've read one sentence and it's like, I don't know. But let's read. Says, implement mass deportations at a scale never seen before. Hire thousands more border agents. Funnel military spending towards border security, which I'm definitely with. And invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to expel suspected members of drug cartels and criminal gangs without a court hearing. Hey, that's a thing. That's so interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna just say this, man. If that's the case, that can be used to expel, and those of y'all who know, that can be used to expel the problem. Just saying, don't put nothing in chat, because I know how y'all are, especially brother, you got ripped off, y'all already typing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You ain't gotta say nothing. I've never heard of this, but again, the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. Now you really forget the things that these people have access to. Because I just thought about it. If a person is, they're not, even though it sounds crazy, but they're not a citizen, but they do get citizens' rights to a trial and everything that we have in the Constitution. But he's like, no, we're going to strip you of that because you're not a citizen and deal with you as a person that's not a citizen. It's actually kind of smart when you think about it. I just didn't know that was a thing. That's wild. Okay. Trump also said he would end catch and release the release of migrants into a U.S. community while they await their immigration court hearings, and restore remain in Mexico, a policy from his first term that required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases are processed. Okay, that makes sense too. And he has sidestepped questions about whether or not he will try to bring back his controversial zero tolerance family separation policy that placed roughly 5,000 children in the custody of Office of Refugee Resettlement and sent them to shelters and foster homes across the country. That is dangerous. That's something he needs to rethink, because that is used by people to fuel trafficking. And that's all I'm gonna say. That is, that can trip them up right there. I'm just saying. So that's the border. So I'm just be honest. I'm 100% for deportation. Because here's what people don't want to talk about, right? Here's what people don't want to talk about, because people don't like to talk about money. The reality of the situation is that one of the groups most affected by illegal immigration economically is Black men. If you're in a city where you're in one of these major cities where they're building stuff all the time, and you have the skills to do construction, or you don't have the skills to do construction, but you in shape and you can work, that opportunity to go and make some quick money and be a day laborer and do that stuff, which virtually anyone can do, that has been, if other cities are like DC, that's been, first of all, you almost got to habla español to talk to the foreman to even get put on, right? If you work downtown DC, you see the construction going on all the time, and if you stop and pay attention, it's like 95% Hispanics doing that construction work. They're not 95% Hispanics in this city. And there are plenty of young Black men who will be capable of doing the work, but they're just locked out by people who don't even speak the language. So I know good and well they're not supposed to. They're not here legally because they can't speak the language and they can't read the language. I'm just saying. So it's not just a matter of the people coming here and taking, free stuff and all that. It's the fact that they're taking jobs, and because they're willing to take jobs for lower pay, they actually are lowering the pay for working class people. Now, I understand that's not their intent, but that's what's taking place. But nobody don't want to talk about that part, because we don't like to talk about the fact that, because everybody's blinging and doing it up and making money and all that stuff. Allegedly. Right? Nobody's a working poor anymore. So again, I'm just dealing with the reality of it. So, that's that. And again, I'm getting off here in 10 minutes. So whatever we don't cover, we don't cover. Let's see. Let me go back. What was this? Was this part of that? I see them talking about NAFTA. I see them talking about a lot of stuff. All right. Let's get to this real quick. Ukraine, China, Middle East. Trump has said that he wants the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the war in Gaza by January should he win the presidency. All right. We'll see how that goes. Similarly, he insisted that the war in Ukraine needs to end, though he's offered no pathway on how to pause the hostilities between Kyiv and Moscow. I'm just being completely honest. From what I've heard Russia say, the only way that thing ends is basically them turning over Zelensky for war crimes and Russia annexing half of Ukraine. I don't know. I put it like this. Trump probably wouldn't care, but the people surrounding him, they're not going to let that happen. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. That'll be interesting to see. Trump's first administration took a strong stance against Iran because his son-in-law is in charge of Middle East policy, which is his downfall. Let me just say this. You know what America's Middle East policy should be? Being completely honest, America's Middle East policy should be: you got it, Israel. You got it. That should be America's Middle East policy. You got it. Now, y'all gonna say, DC, what that mean? What that means is Israel like to tell us how big and bad they are, how thorough they are, and how they can defeat everyone. And they can say that they did it in 1972 in the 6-Day War. They defeated everybody around them in 6 days. Cool. You take care of that. We'll be over here watching. You know what I'm saying? Because here's what will happen, and I'll get to your question in a moment, sister. Here's what will happen. Israel will find out very quickly that Iran is not Iraq or Syria or Jordan. They will find that out very quickly. Now, the threat of that is that they get desperate and they go to what they call the Samson option. But I've come to there's two things with that. One, Pakistan says, if you go to the Samson option, then we're going to go to, I don't know if they have what fancy Muslim name they have for their stuff, but they just basically said they'll just obliterate. They will obliterate Israel. They'll wipe it off the map because people forget Pakistan has nuclear weapons. In addition to that, I am of the belief that Iran can assemble their nuclear weapon literally in a couple of days. And they definitely have the missile technology to get there. And they're working on expanding their missile technology. So, yeah. So instead of, spending all this money and sending people and all that stuff, just let Israel handle themselves. And we, see how it works out. Because it's kind of like when you have your big brother and you talk trash to everybody because your big brother's behind you. Sometimes you got to, scrap it out for yourself so you can see what it's like. They get punched in the mouth. Give you a different perspective on life. It's kind of what Israel needs, in my humble opinion. Because they've been committing genocide for over a year now. So, I'm saying. And Sister Najee says, what are your thoughts on Israel's potential military coup? I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention. I have seen Mr. Netanyahu he's fired his general, and he's basically kind of like rearranging his whole war cabinet from last I saw. Now, if I get a chance to really dig into that, I'll do a show on that. I've been paying attention, but I haven't been paying as much attention as I probably should be, because I wanted to see what was going to happen. Because these are my thoughts real quick, and then I'll be done with tonight. My thought was that if Miss Harris Imhoff won, then Israel will go full steam ahead with what they were going to do. They will force America's hand to get involved with Iran, and we will have a war with Iran within the first 6 months of her presidency. And then my thought was that if Mr. Trump won, he would basically tell Mr. Netanyahu, look, we're not trying to get involved in that. Netanyahu will be like, all right, cool. And then within 6 to 9 months, there would be a 9/11 style event that would occur that would be blamed on Israel. Would be blamed on Iran, and thus would force the United States to engage in a war with Iran. Now, I don't mean a 9/11. What I mean is a 9/11 level of event, not necessarily the same type of thing, right? So that's what that was the conclusion I came to, which puts us in the same place, which is war with Iran, which of course means, as Pakistan just said, war with Pakistan and Russia and Syria and Hezbollah and Hamas / Lebanon. Well, no, Hezbollah / Lebanon and Hamas and Islamic Jihad. I think that's everybody. There's a lot of hands there. So that's just not very smart. So, again, I'm your host, DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at DC_Radical_ONE, on OTW2, which is a Black-owned free speech platform, at DC Radical One. You can donate via Cash App, and I greatly appreciate it. $ DC Radical One. And you can email me at dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. And I did not even talk about the event this Saturday with Brother Genie. So I'm going to try to come back on another day this week. And so remember, we're monetized. So if you didn't get to watch the whole thing, go back and watch the whole thing. Watch the last few that we've dealt with politics. And if I can, greetings to Sister Sonia. Yeah, you missed it, so you can always watch the replay though. You can watch the replay. If I get a chance, I will try to come on either tomorrow or Friday and do a SBL talk, because I haven't done an SBL talk in a while. So, I'll try to do that. Do one this week. And we will, I want to do one talking about why Black men aren't respected. Because I think we kind of agree that Black men aren't respected. Like this election kind of showed us that. And I kind of want to talk about that because there's some things that we need to talk about as men. And some things we need to talk to sisters about. So if I do that, that's going to be the topic, basically. And I'm sure that'll be controversial and probably bring some people out. And if not, then it'll just be our crew that we have of 2 to 3 dozen people who show up all the time. And we appreciate you all. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And even more so than subscribing, which I appreciate. And hey, don't forget to rewatch some of the recent streams. And I'll let you all know if I'm gonna come on tomorrow. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll let you all know about 6 o'clock or so. So with that, I say BB for ODA and straight Black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical One. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight Black pride.